Okay. What I'm going to go through with you is your first assessment task, which is to plan a trip using Google Earth. Now, I'm going to be doing another talk where I explain how to use the Google Earth pin feature in order to complete this assessment, but I'm just going to go through what's on Schoology now. So, you are required to use Google Earth to plan a trip around the world. We'll be going to be testing you on your ability to use grid referencing, compass directions, and latitude and longitude. You are required to do the following things. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dot points there that outline what you need to do. The first thing is you need to use Google Earth to plot out 5 to 10 cities around the world that you're going to travel to. That's the first thing, and we're going to show you how to do that in later lessons. So the second thing you need to do is you need to find the latitude and the longitude for each of those cities in the world that you're traveling to. And you're going to record those on a separate document, Google Sheet, Google Doc, that we're going to call your supporting evidence, or your supporting document. So you need to plan an activity to do in each of those cities. So if you're going to go to Beijing, you need to have one thing that you're going to do in Beijing. But what you need to do is you need to find a map of Beijing that has grid referencing. This is a really easy thing to do. All you need to do is Google image search, Beijing map grid referencing, and up will pop quite a few different maps that use grid referencing. And then what you do is you copy the URL and you put that into your supporting evidence and you use that grid reference to tell us where in the city you went. So instead of us giving you maps to cities, you're going to find your own map and use it to give us the grid reference of your activity. So the fourth thing you need to do is you need to give us the compass directions that you're traveling. So if you're going to go to London, then to Rio, then to Beijing, then to Tokyo, you need to tell us, using an 8-point compass, what direction you're traveling in. And we're going to look at compasses today. So if you're going from London to Rio, you might be traveling southwest. I don't know, don't quote me. I'm just using an example. If we're traveling from Sydney to Jakarta, we would be traveling north or northwest. Definitely north. So that's something else that you have to do. That's testing our use of compass directions. Okay. So if you're going to do a really good job at this, you need to be clever in your choice of place to visit. So you need to pick some really interesting, fun, exciting cities and some really interesting, fun, exciting things to do there. You need to be really accurate in your directions and your grid referencing. And you need to be accurate in your use of latitude and longitude. That is handy. Okay. Your supporting document also needs to be laid out nice and neatly so that we can read it very easily. Flynn. Do you have to fly over the world? Yes, you need to fly over the world. I'm not going to be interested in a trip to Wagga. Shh, I'll just wait for quiet. Keep in mind, Year 7, we are recording. Henry. Can we use a setting on Google Earth where we can go on a plane? That flight simulator functionality is something that Ms. Stewart and I had a lot of fun with last lesson. We are looking at a way we're going to do an activity using Flight Simulator at some stage, but not in this assessment. Yep. Are we allowed to work in pairs? Not this time. This assessment is individual because it's going to be marked. Are there any other questions so far? Do we have any? I haven't planned that activity yet. No. You can have a check. Okay. Shh. Hold on 2 seconds, Liv. I'm waiting. Year 7, I have a record of how much time of mine you're wasting Olivia.
Are we allowed to go, like, there's Disneylands in different parts of the world. Are you allowed to go to, like, each city?
Okay, if you're going to be clever enough to do something like a Disneyland trip around the world, then you are definitely being clever in your use of location. That is definitely a clever use of location. Good job. So this is your marking criteria. This is the thing that you need to be looking at in order to make sure that you're doing a really good job. You'll have one of these on every single assessment you get in geography. Anything that we mark, we're going to be using this to mark you. So we're testing 1, 2, 3, 4 different outcomes in this assessment task. The first one is your ability to gather geographical information. So to get a 5, you need to do that to an excellent degree. All the information you need to gather has to be accurate. It should be clearly presented. And it should be interesting. The second one that we're doing is your organisation of the information. So you should be organising the information that you're gathering in a really clever, clear, easy to understand way. Your use of written, oral and graphic forms, you should be thinking about including some form of graphic information like pictures of each thing that you're doing in each city. And your sense of global environments. So we're testing how well you understand where you fit in to the world. And we want to see that through your assessment task. Okay, does anyone have any questions about this assessment task? Yep. Can we do more than 10? You can do more than 10, but I won't mark any more than 10 because we have 80 assessments to get through. But you can go for your life. Any other questions? Flynn? So Flynn, I'll just wait for people to stop talking. Flynn?
We get marked less if we do less stops.
So if you do less than 5 stops, you're not...
I mean, like, if you do 5 stops, will you get marked less than if someone does 10?
Okay, no. The assessment is asking for 5 to 10. If you do 5 and you do it really well, and if someone does 8 and they don't do it as well as you, you will still get a higher mark. The assessment's calling for 5 to 10, but we want to see excellence. I want to see really high quality work. Jack? Transportation options are flying only. Flying in a straight line. So you don't need to look at stopovers or anything like that. We're just flying in a straight line from city to city like you have a magic backpack. From Sydney to London. Shh. Year 7. Waiting. So someone just brought up the point that you can't fly from Sydney to London. For the point of this exercise, you can pretend that you have... I'm sorry, there are some very rude people in this class today. I'm more than happy for those people to sit in here while we go outside and play games and write out of a book. You're being recorded. I can very easily take this straight to Miss Morton and show how many times I had to wait. For the point of this exercise, pretend that you have a magical helicopter that flies you in a straight line from major city to major city. It's just easier. It's easier for our purpose of testing direction. Can it be a jet? Sure. Flynn?
Does it matter if you're going from like Sydney to London and then stop in the middle of there, in the middle, like where you're meant to stop, and can that be one of your points?
Okay, so if you're going to do stopovers, anywhere that you're touching the ground and visiting a city, that's another point.
Yeah.
That's a point you'll put on your Google map. So you'll need to measure direction, longitude, latitude, something interesting to do in that stopover. Okay, Henry? I'm not going to answer silly questions. Henry Langford. Angus. Are you allowed to go to the International Space Station? No, because you cannot plot it on Google Earth. Remember, we're plotting our trip using Google Earth, which I'll show you how to do next lesson. Okay. Can you hear off?